Hey, there we go. Perfect. We got it. Hey, nice. 60 FPS. All right, let's see what we got here. Welcome to Dwarf Fortress. Prepare to guide your stout charges to fortune in a world fraught with many perils. You'll begin by creating your world and watching the region's history unfold. Once this process is complete, you can prepare a group and send them out to seek wealth deep in the mountains. As you dig deeper, more citizens will take up residence in your outpost. Your doings will attract attention, both wanted and unwanted. Deal with challenges as they arise, and you might one day find that your humble settlement has grown to become a mountain home, the center of your civilization. Okay? World size. We're gonna let chat decide. We're gonna go through each and every one of these. So chat, how big should our map be? Maximum everything. All right. Boom. Large. How long should the history be? You know what? 500 years of history. Number of civilizations. Maximum. I don't know what number of sites, beasts, savagery, or mineral occurrence is. We'll do 250. This may take a long while. This may take several minutes. Let's do 250 years. Let's do 250 years, chat. One second, I might be able to fix this. 1 second, chat. There we go. Okay. It's fixed, but a tiny bit. There's gonna be some top and bottom to it. Unfortunately, there is no game capture, so. What is, okay, so what is natural savagery? Does that mean how often threats happen? 'Cause I'm probably gonna keep that on about a medium while I learn the game. I'm not gonna throw myself into losing as fun at the very beginning. Oh, God. Okay, there is a lot of settings you can fuck with. Okie dokie, then. We're gonna go back to basic bitch mode. That's too big for my head. Create world. Loading data needed to create the world.
Dwarf Fortress is about 200% more simulation than RimWorld ever will be.
Farming lakes and minerals. Alright. If you thought RimWorld was complicated, this is... Yeah, people are telling me that RimWorld is basically a kid's game in comparison to this, into terms of how complex it is. This is probably going to make me heavily appreciate how dumbed down it would be then. Oh god. An abridged chronicle. 48,000 events have happened so far. Oh my god. So much shit is happening. Okay. Wow, that would be a long time to wait for 500 years of history. So much lore. Chat, do you know all the dwarf history? Read all of the lore now. All 250 years of it. 166,000 events have currently happened.
Just pretend that it is RuneScape. Numbers go up.
Chat, I hope you've been reading the lore as it's been going through that text box, because I will be quizzing you on it later. I will be quizzing you on it.
Bahroo, when it said 500 years it mean it you are literally forming a world, and it's all gonna somehow come together to change what you're up against. Have fun, Roof.
Having fun.
I still remember event number 35,049 like it happened yesterday.
Oh, thank you for the bits, man. I appreciate it. Only 100 more years of history to go, chat. Let's all remember the day. I can't even, like, stop. Like, I can't read this fast enough. My brain does not handle information being thrown at me at a rapid rate. Boop. I am bad with reading fast. There's a pause button. Someone said that if I press the pause button, it'll just play the game. But also, I don't want to pause it, because I don't want to make it take any longer.
If you feel so inclined, there is a mode called Legends that will let you read all of it.
Sit around, chat. Let's read 250 years of history.
If RimWorld had a parent, that's Dwarf Fortress. If you wonder where RimWorld's losing his fun came from, that was Dwarf Fortress. Dwarf Fortress is the very definition of losing is fun. Have fun, Roof.
I will attempt to have fun. Dwarf Fortress. I'm ready. Also, please, Baron, I'm going to let you know right now. This is a very large game with a lot of shit to learn. As far as mechanics go, I am open to any and all backseating. Because I would actually like to learn how to play the game. This is not something that you just pick up and just roll with. We literally can't backseat enough in this game. Yeah. What even... Okay, so for me, I like a goal. I'm a very goal-oriented person. Without a goal, I am lost. being told just have fun, that's the goal, isn't enough for me. Like RimWorld, my goal is to leave. The goal is to leave the planet. Right? That is your goal. I need a goal. Is there an actual end to Dwarf Fortress, or is it just go?
Boop.
Survive as long as possible. So it's purely survival.
This is more lore than I've read in my entire life. Way Turu.
Gold, dig too deep.
Basic rule 243, keep your cat population under control all the time by spaying them. Or you will starve to death, or they might do something else stupid that kills you.
Nice. You're probably going to have to make a goal as you go along. Military defenses, building, exploring caves, etc. Okay. Because there is definitely a chance I don't enjoy this, purely because it's a little too sim for me.
How it goes, and when your fort dies, and
there's a reason I don't.
However,
like,
it's the story of how it dies that makes this game.
True. This game is definitely more about the... What is it? The traveling, not the destination, or whatever it is. About the journey. My goal is to take over the entire world, then. That is my goal. Take over the entire world. You actually can do that? Nice. And then immediately get overthrown by a mutiny and die. That is the perfect ending to me. Take over the entire world, then die. All right. So, what kind of land? Obviously, this is Dwarf Fortress, so we're probably going to want to be in a mountain, right? This is probably the one time chat's going to say, do it, Bahroo. Make the mountain base. This seems nice. It's not connected to anything. But this seems nice. I don't know if it being connected actually matters.
A very common goal for most fortresses is either killing all the evil factions near them, or killing all the elves. Because elves suck as much as the evil factions. P.S. Do not trade wood to elves, ever.
Alright, well, play now. I'm just gonna hit play now. I don't even know where it's sent. I don't even know where it's sending me, dude. Tutorial can spawn you in an evil biome, by the way. Well, time to find out. Is it actually called evil biome, or is there a specific name that designates an evil biome? Select a game type to begin. passing a few weeks to get things ready. All right. Okay. Granite, slate, felsit, hamite, malachite, galena. Quick start and short tutorial. Would you like your fortress located in a forested, mineral-rich region of this world where you can play through a short tutorial? Non-interactive help will be available, whatever you decide. Probably want to play the tutorial for this game because there is no fucking way I'm just going to go in blind. I am going to need the tutorial, so let's do the tutorial. Yeah, we're going to want the tutorial for this game. Let's do it. Start tutorial.
As far as goals go, it can go from surviving the first winter to slaying a specific beast. Personally, my goal is to experience all the stupid batshit crazy stuff the game has to offer.
Mm-hmm. A dwarven outpost. You have arrived. After a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond, your harsh trek, thank you for the tier 3 sub, has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all Vabak Duckum. Dusum. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labor comes sustenance. Whether by bolt, plow, or hook, provide for your dwarves. You are expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you. But it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings. Ere the leopards get hungry. A new chapter of the dwarven history here. This place. Cool. Camera controls. Your view is focused on one elevation at a time. To move the camera around, press WASD or hold middle mouse button to drag the view. Okay. Is there a way to make the camera not as laggy? I hope I get used to it. That's a bit better. Your view came with the camera. To change camera elevation, press C or E or roll the mouse wheel. Shift moves faster. Oh, so we just dig down. How far down can you go? Elevation 0 seems to be the final one. That is a lot of digging. When your view is in the air above other tiles, you can see them below, but you can only interact with objects in your current elevation. The view will be dark underground until you begin mining. You can move the camera to the surface with the surface button. Okay. It's time to get to work. Let's start by digging a stairwell into the ground. There may be plenty of hillsides to dig into, but you'll want to seek wealth below the surface. Mining tasks are designated on the play area. Begin by clicking the highlighted mining button. Okay, so we have dig a regular hallway or room. Assign a miner to work detail if necessary. The miner requires a pick. Dig a stairwell on this level. Going up or down, your selection must span multiple elevations. Click on a tile, change elevations, and click again. Okay. Wouldn't I want to be, like, in here? Wouldn't having a nice little area right here actually be beneficial to me? Like, I want to build into, like, a hill here. Right? feel like I want to. Alright, well, we're gonna create... Alright. We're just gonna build this. Cool.
Dwarf Fortress simulates water pressure. Be careful or you will have a burst wall and flood the fortress with water or lava.
Nice. Let's make a safe place to work. Select regular mining mode to the left of the stair mining mode. Dig a rectangle around underground big enough for a large stockpile and some workshops. Consider that most workshops are 3x3 squares. Mining through the stone layer further down may take longer, but leaves boulders, which are essential building material. Later, you can consider making a meeting area from the zones menu. Otherwise, your citizens will continue to gather by the wagon outside. Okay. And then, so we want 3x3 rooms. It says rooms completed, 0 out of 20 here. All right. All right. We'll start like that. Okay. The supplies on the wagon are in danger of being carried off by wild creatures. It's time to build a stockpile in the underground to unload them. Stockpiles are crucial to moving supplies around your fortress where they are needed. Stockpiles are placed with the stockpile button highlighted. The supplies on the wagon. Okay, click the add button. How big can a room be? Like, how big can a room be, chat? All right. Okay. I thought we needed to make them. So then, could I just make it huge? Just make a huge room. There we go. Mine it all out. Perfect. I don't know how big of a room I can actually make here. All right. Okay. All for now, I guess. All right. Coconut palm bucket, palm splint, battle axe, pigtail bang, copper warhammer. Okay. With shelter ready underground, it's time to build. First, you need building materials like wood or boulders. Before you start chopping down trees, you want to create a dedicated wood stockpile. Haulers will also drop wood in your all stockpile unless you turn it off in the custom stockpile menu. When you are ready, open the woodcutting menu and designate the trunk of a tree on the surface. Make sure your woodcutter can walk to the designated location. Okay. Okay. I don't know how much wood I need, but there we go. All right, who's chopping down the tree? All right. What's that thing that's blinking in and out? I don't know what those are. Items up to grade on the left side. If left on the surface, feel free to deforest a place if you want. Oh, okay. Well, first I'm trying to get them to actually cut down a single tree. How much is in this cart? A lot? Probably need to make the stockpile larger. What are these? A swarm of flies. Alright. Why are there flies? Oh wait, I deleted the stockpile. Oh no, no. Alright. Done. Now we got a whole bunch of logs. Okay. Alright. Now that you have building materials, it's time to start building. Workshops are one of the many buildings you can place in the designated build button. Click now. Most tasks in the fortress are started and completed at workshops. Tasks generally require raw materials, and most workshops are constructed from boulders, blocks, or wood. Oh my god, there's so many. Oh my god. Alright. Most workshops require building materials such as wood or boulders. If you have wood stockpiled, you'll be able to place a carpenter's workshop. Like workshop and carpenter. Does it matter where I put this? If I need to angle it in any kind of way? Or can I just put it down? Should make your own room for it. Alright, let's make our own room for it. How big can I make these? Can I make this? Can this just be one giant stockpile room? I like that. Okay. Alert. Something has collapsed on the surface. What are you talking about? How do I tell what's actually happening?
New goal.
It says left click
Balance
to
the
for
entirety of your
recenter
map on
and
one
expand
single
options,
pillar
but
at
left
the
click
bottom of the
doesn't do
world.
anything.
When you get bored, kick the pillar roof.
Well, left click the alert. I'm literally doing that. Nothing's happening. Like, I'm clicking on this. Nothing is happening. Well. Oh my god, you can go really high into the sky. Alright. Population, 7. People, kinda happy. Alright. We're gonna put ourselves down here. Alright, well, we're just waiting for them to haul the infinite fucking supplies that apparently we have. Alright. We'll get back to mining eventually. Eventually. Bro, how much shit is in this? Is there a way to see how much is actually inside this? I'm clicking on it, but it's not doing anything, which makes me think I'm tutorial locked for right now. Is there a way to force them to do specific things? Or are they just going to keep doing this until the tutorial is over? Well, I hope y'all don't get yourselves killed while I do this. Is there a way to speed up the game, or is that also tutorial locked and we're just going to sit here awkwardly? Alright, well. Okay. Oh, he's finally mining again. Yay! Hell yeah. Alright, workshop. Carpenter bench. Alright. Someone will build that. Someone will build this eventually. Alright. Hey, you're building, finally. Yay, I did it. Alright, click workshop. Your industrious citizens will perform any task added to the workshop. Most objects that are placed, like doors or furniture, must first be built in the... You have to build doors in the workshop first. Furniture created at the carpentry workbench usually takes on 1 wood to build. Add a task to make a bed. Chop down more trees if necessary. Unpause and wait for the bed to be completed. Make a bed. Okay. All right. How do I expand a current one? Repaint, toggle. Repaint. There we go. Perfect.
And his last order was come. And they all came. Even the dragons.
Even the dragons. Let's add a new task. Let's make a door. Make door. How do I place a bed? Where is the bed? Where's the bed that I'm placing? Beds are found in the furniture category. Beds are found in the furniture category. Unlike workshop, beds must be placed. Beds must be placed underground. Okay.
Boop.
All right. Well, we need to go underground now. Working on that. Eventually. Yeah, I need to get underground first. Don't worry. Soon the guy will stop hauling the... Boy, we sure do have a lot of wood. All right. Inside is underground? Oh. Okay. I guess you're correct. Ah, but it can't be done where there's a stockpile. Darn. Hold up. They're sleeping right now. Does everybody want their own room? I assume everybody wants their own room. How big is considered a good room? Or am I just going to shove everybody into the same room? How many population do I have? 7? So we should build 7 beds, or 6 more beds. How do I have it do that more than once? Can't? Alright. Work orders and you can't do it yet. Alright. Alright. With the bed placed, your workers will have somewhere to sleep. Later, you can create a room with a door and use the zones to assign an official bedroom for each resident. The rest of the interface is now enabled. You can click on creatures, items, just as you can click on buildings, and get more information about them. You can click on a resident to see their needs, inventory, thoughts, relations, and more. You can also access information. Click a citizen or a creature. Feel free to pause and check out the information. Right-click to dismiss the information sheet. Alright. Important and sometimes urgent information is given as alerts on the left side of the screen. There have been several already. Hover over the alert to see the information. Left-click the alert before recentering. Right-click to dismiss. Something collapsed. Okay. An animal has grown to become a stray guinea hen. This is an example of an urgent alert. These are very important. Ignore them at your peril. All right. You may need supplies before the coming winter. To trade with the autumn caravan, you must first build a trade depot from the build menu. You need something of value to trade. Crafts are an easy way to make a lot of trade goods quickly. Make the appropriate workshop with workshop crafts. An obvious material to use is to make the crafts is rock. If you dig down enough layers, you will find a near infinite amount of boulders of various kinds, as well as some rough gems if you are lucky. Gems can be cut at the jeweler's workshop, encrust them on crafts and others for even more value. There's a lot more to learn. As you encounter new menus, there'll be new information and tips. The help button's located in the top hand of the screen. You have a help button. Oh my god. And now the game is open-ended and you do whatever you choose. If you'd like a goal, try to become a barony and then a mountain home. More likely, your dwarves will starve unless you read the first few guides here. And remember, losing is fun. In order to keep your citizens alive in the unforgiving wilderness, they will need shelter, drink, and food. Use the arrow at the top of this window to minimize the tutorial when it obscures your view. Shelter. By now, you should have a room underground where your residents can hide from creatures above. To make sure that they spend their free time down there, you will need to use the zones menu to create a meeting area. Later, you may try the burrows menu to create a safe place for your civilians to hide when real trouble comes. Some essential tasks must be assigned from the labor menu. Click here and make sure that you have a miner, a woodcutter, and fisher dwarf. If you haven't suffered any casualties, you should have these labors assigned already. But if you have if one of these brave workers falls, you'll need to assign somebody to these duties. Drink. There are two ways to make drink for your residents. The main way is by brewing alcohol. This is done by building a still from the build menu using workshops farming the still. Once the still is constructed, click on it to add the task brew from plant or fruit. If you have no suitable plants, you can try planting or gathering. The task also requires a barrel in the carpenter's workshop. If you survive until the caravan comes, then you may also trade for drinks or plants, and the number of drink rations can be seen at the top of the screen. Absent alcohol, and in warmer weather, you can designate a water source from zones menu at a river or a pond so that your residents have water to drink. You'll want one of these anyways for other purposes like cleaning and certain workshop tasks. You may find water underground as well. There is some food on the embark wagon. You can trade for food, but you can also grow your own. The wagon comes with some seeds, but as you might expect, these crops must be grown underground. Using mining orders, you'll need to carve out a rectangular area underground for your farm plot. The underground rectangle must be near the surface where there is soil, loam, clay, or sand. One level down should suffice. Before you hit rock, the highest mountain elevations do not have soil. Make sure you leave the ceiling above intact so the underground soil doesn't receive any sunlight. With subterranean subsoil floor exposed, you can place an underground farm plot. This isn't rich soil, but will suffice for now. Dig deeper to find better soil. Select farm plot, then build menu in its workshop. Farming farm plot. Place a farm plot on the subterranean soil. You need to select the crops to be grown each season. Click on the farm plot you've placed and pull up the farming menu. Plump helmets are edible. and the default wagon comes with plump helmet spawn, which are their seeds. Note that you can obtain above ground seeds from trade or by eating gathered plants. But above ground farming exposes your planters to dangers and the elements. Now your planters, those that can both access both the farm plot and the spawn, will plant the field, and after a period of growth, they'll be harvested. If you'd like to focus a few of your citizens on farming, which gives skill benefits, you can assign them to the planter's work detail in the labor menu. Fertilizer and skilled planters have direct impact on crop yield. These effects are more pronounced deep underground, where you can locate the cavern biome and its rich soil. Potash is the fertilizer of choice and can be created in the ashery using ash and wood burned in the wood furnace. A water source zone and a bucket are also required. Fertilizer is not needed in order to farm. Now let's learn about other food sources. Fishing. If there is a river or pond nearby, you may consider fishing. If the water isn't frozen, a worker with the fishing labor assigned will begin fishing automatically. You can optionally choose to designate a fishing zone if you don't want your workers going far afield. Remember, your workers do not eat raw fish. You must build a fishery to prepare them. Select by doing workshops, farming, fishery. Gathering. It is possible to survive by gathering plants outside. Do this by selecting the gathering order, then draw a rectangle over the bushes you wish to search. Then there's butchering. Meat from livestock you slaughter is a source of food. To slaughter an animal, you must first build a butcher's shop. Do this by selecting the building, workshops, farming, butcher. Once this shop is built, open the creature's info menu from the select pets livestock tab. There, you can select which animals to slaughter. You may need to minimize the tutorial to see the slaughter buttons. Note that some livestock must eat vegetation to survive. To keep them alive, use pens and pasture zones from the zones menu to select a selection of grass and click and add the button to assign animals. Wow. Now let's learn about bins, bags, and barrels. If you find that your stockpiles are filling up too fast, you can create a room by building bins, barrels, and bags. Barrels are used to store food. Bags are used to store seeds and some other things like sands. Bins hold just about everything except furniture, wood, and boulders. A carpenter's workbench is the best place to make lightweight bins and barrels, but they can also be made at the stoneworker's shop and the metalsmith's forge. Bags are created at the clothier's shop for leather workers. Neat, so that's how we can make our stockpiles a bit better. What about refuse and dumping? As your dwarfs live and work in your fortress, they will generate refuse, which this includes everything from bones and other remains to worn out clothing. You can gather the refuse in a refuse stockpile. Some refuse can be put to use. For instance, shells can be turned into crafts. Most of it will generate foul-smelling miasma. Your refuse stockpile starts to fill up. You can create a dump zone. Use these zones to select the garbage dump and select a rectangle over a cliff or hole and then designate items for dumping. This can be done either from the items info sheet or by dragging a rectangle over everything you want to dump in the dump designation tool. Nice. Now let's learn about trading. When the caravan arrives at the trade depot that you are going to need to build, you must click on the depot and select bring goods to depot. Oh, so you have to actually bring the goods to the depot that you want to trade. Here you can select which goods you wish to trade. After everyone has brought their goods, you can select trade. Don't worry if you have no broker, just select anyone can trade. You cannot trade until your broker or another resident arrives at the depot. When trading, you select which goods you want from the list on the left and which goods of yours to trade from the list on the right, then hit trade. The trader will accept if the deal is fair and if they can carry away the weight of the things you are selling. Note that if you have a broker, the value of each good will be shown if their skill is high enough. Nice. Now for offices and administrative work. In order for some functions to be used, like work orders or bookkeeping, administrators must be assigned. To do this, select the Nobles and Administrators menu and click the Add button to assign somebody. Some administrators will require offices. to perform their work. You can create this with Zone's office. The zone you select must contain a chair, or you must paint a zone and place a chair later. Remember, to assign the administrator to the office, other nobles may appear or be assigned as the game progresses. Use the nobles and administrators menu to check their needs and their wants, of course, and happiness and stress. To attract migrants and build a successful settlement, you will need to keep your citizens happy. There are many ways to maintain your citizens. Alcohol, good food, and personal rooms go a long way. Meet their needs by providing meeting areas and locations for socializing, worship, and study. Monitor their thoughts and identify problems that you can solve. Unhappy citizens can act out and cause trouble. Fewer people will risk travel to a miserable fortress. Okay, so keep them happy. Dig deeper. There are many treasures and perils deep underground. In order to pursue the wealth of the earth, you must dig deeper. Valuable gems and precious metals can be found, along with richer soil, desperately needed water, fungal lumber, and other tantalizing mysteries. Neat. Ore and smelting. In order to... Hold on. In order to make metal bars for the metal smith, you must smelt ore. This can be done at the smelter, which can be found under workshops, furnaces, smelter. Ore is mined underground below the soil layers. If you have found magma, you can build a magma smelter directly over it. Otherwise, you need fuel. To get fuel, you need charcoal with wood furnaces found at workshop, furnaces, and wood furnace. You may switch to other forms of fuel, such as coal, but will usually need charcoal from the wood furnaces to start the process. Cool. Traps and levers. It is a dangerous world, and if the entrance of your fortress is left open, you can succumb to invasions. The best way to avoid this fate is to build traps and lock the ways into your fortress. The ways to build traps are as wild as your imagination. Most require mechanisms made at the mechanic's shop using workshop mechanic. To stop some enemies from entering your fortress, use the build machines fluids lever to build a lever. Then click on the lever and choose to link it to a bridge or door. This will lock the door or raise the bridge, locking you inside. There are also pre-designed traps such as weapon, cage, and stonefall traps. These require weapon, cage, or boulder in order to function. Neat. Let's learn about wells. Non-alcoholic water is essential to a functioning fortress. The most favored place to get it is from a well. Wells require a bucket, block, rope, or chain, and mechanisms. They can be built over any body of water. It is possible to find water underground or divert it from the surface. Handling light aquifers. Aquifers can block the downward progress of your fortress, but it is possible to bypass them. One way is to simply redesignate a damp stone for mining in order to build a 3x3 room around the stairs. You can build walls around the stairs until the leaking water is blocked off. Repeat this pattern until you get below the aquifer. Of course. Now for clothing. Eventually, the clothing that your residents start with will rot away. While it is possible to trade for clothing, cloth, and leather, you can farm pigtails, gather silk, or tan skins for leather. After harvesting plants like pigtail, first process them at the farmer's workshop, then weave cloth at the loom, then make clothing at the clothier. Gathered silk can go directly to the loom. Skins can be obtained by butchering livestock at the butcher shop. Skins are tanned at the tanner shop, and then made into clothing at the leatherworks. Meeting areas are zones where your citizens gather when not working or taking care of their needs. Zones can be assigned to special locations. Usually one meeting area is sufficient, but locations can span several zones. There are 5 types of locations, which we'll go over in turn. Taverns. Taverns are where your residents gather to drink, socialize, tell stories, and dance. To have a fully functioning tavern, you must have a stockpile with booze in it, preferably close by. The inhabitants also like to drink from goblets, cups, or mugs. These must be stored in chests or coffers inside the tavern. Optionally, you can place tables and chairs where residents can eat. You may also leave a cleared space your tavern goers will use as a dance floor. If you have musical instruments, these can also be used by the tavern. From the tavern info menu, you can choose to assign performers or tavern keeper who will serve the visitors drinks. There is also an option to allow outsiders to come to your tavern. Now there are temples. Temples are places for faithful residents to commune with their chosen deity. Upon creation of the location, you must choose which deity to dedicate the temple to, if any. Sometimes the adherents to a certain religion will demand that you build a temple to their specific deity. You can see how many worshippers of each deity live in your fortress by scrolling over their names. In the temple info menu, you can see the value of the temple. Sometimes the worshippers will demand that you increase the value of the temple by decorating it and adding furniture like statues. You can also add chests and coffers to hold musical instruments that the faithful will use. You can also assign performers to the temple and even priests once the temple becomes more established. Now for the hospital. Your unfortunate citizens are taken to the hospital when they are injured. There they will rest and given water until they are seen by a doctor. Oh good, you've been shot in the chest. Here's a glass of water. The doctor will be with you shortly. To fully function, your hospital needs to have beds, buckets with a source of water, thread for sutures, cloth for bandages. You must build a chest and a coffer inside to store these items. Some injuries might require splints or gypsum plaster powder or orthopedic casts. Soap is necessary to prevent infection, and some patients will need crutches after they are treated. You will need to appoint Chief Medical Dwarf from the Nobles and Administrator menu. You will need to assign a doctor to the hospital from the Hospital Info menu. Later, you can assign doctors to specific roles, such as Diagnostician. Can't read. The doctor will need a table to perform surgeries. Some injuries will require traction benches, which can be built at the mechanic shop. And then there's libraries. The thirst for knowledge some residents can be satisfied at the library. From the library info menu, you can assign scholars who discuss their interests with the inhabitants and scribes to record them. Beware, some knowledge is dangerous. In order to hold scrolls and codices, you will need bookcases. You will also need tables for your scribes to work on. Chests and coffers are needed to store the writing material for the scribes to write on. Guild halls are where the workers of specific professions gather to socialize and share their knowledge. When deciding which guild to dedicate the guild hall, you can scroll over the names of the guild and see how many workers of each profession there are and whether a guild has been established. As the guild grows in power, they may demand a guild hall of greater value. This can be increased by decorating the hall and building furniture like statues. Neat. Don't worry, we're almost there. Military. Before you can create a military, you must appoint a militia commander from the Nobles and Administrators menu. Then, from the squad menu, you can assign your first squad led by the commander. First, you must assign the uniform. A new uniform can be assigned later. The squad can be customized, and you can select the leader from the buttons at the top of the squad menu. The most important buttons are the check mark to select the squad to give orders and the position button to add more soldiers to the squad. You can give individual orders to the soldiers by selecting them with the check mark from the position menu or the whole squad from the squad menu. The orders can be found at the bottom of the squad menu when somebody is selected, and you can make a kill order and confirm it. You can make a station order to have your squad stand in that position. You can create a patrol route to assign your squads to it. The defend burrow order will give a list of burrows created by pressing the burrow menu for your squad to defend. The training order allows for your soldiers to train, but you must first assign a barracks created from the zone's menu. The equipment menu allows you to customize the uniforms of the selected squads. You can assign new uniforms to your squads or add a new one to customize it and add to the uniform list. You can also click on the details to customize each individual soldier. But did you know that the schedule menu is a powerful tool to give automatic orders to the selected squads? Routines are individual orders given to a squad and individual members of a squad. From here, you can assign and edit routines your soldiers will follow. You can also give your squads a monthly schedule. The routines are aligned at the top of the grid, and the months of the year are shown in the top. Shown on the left side. To assign the different orders for each month, line up your chosen routine, go down the column and press edit on the orders lining up with that month. You can also copy an order from any cell. Clicking on the column itself will assign a routine to the selected squad. Wowee. Now let's learn about ramps and channels. The regular mining command digs a tunnel into the side of a mountain or deep underground. This leaves a ceiling above and a floor below the empty space you have mined. A ramp is a special square that can be used to traverse to the level above. There must be a space above the ramp and an adjacent wall with an open floor above the ramp to be usable. Digging a ramp into a wall on the same level will create a connection to the higher level and remove the ceiling once the ramp is present. You can start by using the regular mining command on the higher level. Digging a channel will mine out the floor or wall at the current level and then dig out the ramp at the level below. If there's no solid ground below the square being channeled, channeling will destroy the floor and create a hole instead. Did you get all that? Good. To easily see which ramps go up or down, just click the ramp vision button by the minimap. Okay. All right. Now let's look at goals. The current and optional path to victory is to have your fortress elevated to a barony. From there, you can build your wealth, export goods, and attract more migrants until you become a country. A county, then a duchy.
Sorry
a happy
to
fortress.
But this game could use a text-to-speech function. Ecom.
I am the text-to-speech. A happy fortress with many exports and massive wealth can attract the existing monarch of the civilization. This is the first step to completing the game. Next, you'll need to satisfy your ruler's needs and finally become a mountain home by seating them on a legendary throne with several mythical symbols of office. You'll be an accomplished player at this point, but this is only the beginning. Ultimately, your true goals are up to your imagination. Call visitors from all over the world with the greatest tavern, library, or temple the world has ever known. Build an elaborate water-propelled contraption or domestic previously untamable wild beast. Settle in unbelievable regions tormented by ancient evils and defend your fortress from zombies with your own army of vampires. Your exploits will be recorded for the Legends mode and by the master engravers in subsequent fortresses of your world. Now let's learn about burrows. Burrows are work and living areas where citizens can be assigned. Workers will try to limit their tasks to the confines of the burrow, while they will sometimes form paths which pass through other areas. Burrows can be suspended and unsuspended freely. When a burrow is suspended, assigned citizens will ignore it. It can be useful to assign all of your civilians to a safe emergency burrow, which you activate in case of intruders. That's very cool. Let's learn about hauling. Minecarts and tracks are a convenient way to move a lot of objects around the fortress quickly. Though they take a little effort to prepare, one minecart can be assigned to each route. and workers will move the vehicle from the track stop to track stop according to the conditions you specify. Each track stop must be linked to a stockpile for items to be put on or removed from the minecart. Only one condition needs to be satisfied for the minecart to move to the next track stop. Minecarts that move too quickly around corners will spill their contents. Of course they will. When a route has a steep descent, consider using powered rollers, extra curves, track stops, between stops, which with various friction settings or workers to guide the vehicle. You couldn't just have a straightforward track. No, we got to throw physics in there too. All right. Justice. If you have a law enforcement administrator like a sheriff or captain of the guard, witnesses of crimes will make reports which will find their way here. Certain crimes are indicative of larger problems, so you should pay attention to them, and affected victims and family members get upset if crime is ignored. It's up to you to choose whom to convict. All available witness information is presented for each case. You can also interrogate suspects. This is particularly important for schemes where the witness might not have the full story. It is recommended to place a certain number of cages and chains to assign them to a dungeon zone. Officers may opt for physical punishment if they cannot carry out custodial sentences. Good, there's a crime system too. Let's learn about nobles. Here you can view your nobles, as well as assign administrators, military leaders, and other officials. Militia commanders are assigned here. Once the first leader is assigned, subsequent captain positions will appear. These can be assigned from the squad menu. Certain important functions in your fortress can only be performed by assigned administrators, such as the manager and bookkeeper. Once they are assigned, you can create work orders, run a hospital, and count and appraise your hoard. Nobles and certain administrators require rooms, and some may require demands. This is the squad menu. Here you can create squads, fill their positions,
Did I hear a powered
assign equipment.
roller coaster through a cavern of lava with nice dangerous jumps?
Yes.
Roo.
It's recommended that you prepare a squad and get them training as soon as you can. You have no idea what's lurking out there. Stocks. Here you can see every item in the fortress. Click on the category heading to the collapse and expand. If you don't have a bookkeeper or don't have an office to work in, numbers may be approximate. I love that you just get a general idea of how many. You don't even get the ability to know how much shit you have. You have to build things to know how much shit you have. It just gives you a guess as to how much you have until you actually check. Work details. Work details are one of the ways you can control which workers do which tasks and are the only way to assign certain tasks like mining, woodcutting, hunting, and fishing. Generally, almost every task skill will be available for every citizen, but you can both restrict both citizens and tasks. Citizens are restricted by using their specialization button. Tasks are restricted by setting their work detail to only selected. Do this. If a task does not have a default work detail, you can create custom work detail. Once assigned citizens to the task, you can set only selected do this if you want to restrict it. So the way that I read that is that basically anybody can do anything. A dwarf is a dwarf. Is that what I'm reading, essentially? It's not like RimWorld where you have specific pawns that are just really good at doing something. Dwarf is a dwarf. They do get better over time. Okay. Work orders. Work orders are used to automate tasks in workshop. These work orders are set to complete a certain number of tasks and can be given start conditions. For instance, you can create an order to make wooden bins if you are out of empty ones, to brew drinks if you are running low, or make 5 statues every month. You can limit work orders to a number of workshops. You can also create work orders at specific workshops from their building sheet. The system is reasonably powerful, and you can eventually automate almost all of your production if you wish. The world. The world created at the beginning of the game is active, and others may take an interest in your outpost as it grows. Stolen artifacts and kidnapped citizens can be recovered by preparing missions from this screen. You can also cause trouble if you'd like to raid your neighbors. Raids are created by clicking on any site not belonging to your civilization. Zones. Zones are areas to designate where your citizens will work, socialize, rest, or perform specific duties. There are several kinds of zones, which you can see in the panel on the left. Zones are placed much like stockpiles. Unlike stockpiles, multiple zones can overlap. Certain zones, like bedrooms, can be placed several at a time. Just make sure you have a correct furniture placed in the rooms with doors or vertical entries separating each room where you begin. Well, I know how to play the game now. Don't you? I know exactly how to play the game now. And then each character has an overview of relations, groups, the items they're currently wearing, their health, which then has wounds, treatments, history, description. She's very weak. And a military, skills. She's a proficient planter and a proficient record keeper. Thoughts. Was annoyed after sleeping in the dirt. Rooms, labor, personality. She has a great sense of empathy and a sum of patience, but she has bad intuition and iffy memory, little natural inclination towards music, and quite poor focus and lousy creativity. This game was made for a certain type of person. I am not that person. I'm just... There's a reason that that bit of reading out all the tutorials went for 15 minutes, and that's because I don't know who this game was made for. Certainly not me. Am I giving up already? Yes. Yes, actually. Dude, I look at this and go, fuck no. This game was made for a certain type of person. I got defeated by the tutorial. You know, sometimes it's about the journey, not the destination. For me, the journey was loading this game up and reading how much was in it. That was, for me, that was the journey. Learning just the general idea of just how much shit is in this game was enough of a journey for me. Am I gonna refund it? No. Why would I refund it? I still want the dev to get money. This is a very well-made game, but not a game for me. To play it off stream. I have like 2 hours to myself off stream. Learning Dwarf Fortress is not where I'm spending those 2 hours. Now the real question is, how fast will they kill themselves? If I just let it run, how fast will they die? Takes roughly an hour. Nice. I'm pretty sure that almost all of what you read is actually something you have to worry about. That's the scary part. Everything that most of the shit that I just read is all a bunch of shit that I'm gonna have to do. Right now. That was the worst part. All those tutorials I just read is stuff I need to do. Right now. And not right now. Some of it was right now. Some of it is right now. Some of it. But not all of it. But I'm going to tell you, this is definitely not a game that I'm probably going to try and learn. I'm going to go use the restroom. I'll be right back. I'm going to just let this game run itself, and we're going to just see if they die by the time I get back. Okay? Perfect. We're back. All right. Hi. I'm on year 5 of my very first run with 120 dwarfs. The game is not that hard to pick up, and I suck at RimWorld. I think it's mostly just I don't want to learn it. I think that's where it's at. I just don't want to learn it. Like, could I? I mean, if I can play RimWorld, I can play this. Could I? Yes. But do I want to? Not really. Do I think this game is impossible to learn? No. It just has a lot of baggage. I mean, to be fair, like, to be honest with y'all, RimWorld would basically have the same level of like immediate baggage that you have to attend with in order to even begin to play the game. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a bunch of shit you need to know in order to even play RimWorld. Post copium to reverse psychology streamer into playing the game. Dig down. We've got plenty of food. Use this food to dig down. Dig.
How about that roguelike city builder Against the Storm now that it's out on Steam? Roo.
Alright. I'm good for right now. Alright. So you're going down. You're digging. Perfect.
Don't listen to chat. If it's not your game, it's not your game.
Oh, I know.
But while there's still mutual respect, the real DF fans aren't too fussed and are glad you even decided to boot the game up.
Oh yeah, like I'm not going to shit on this game. Trust me. At this point, I just want to see what's down here. I may as well dig down and see how far down we can go until we inevitably die or hit lava. Any fan of this game probably knows this is like one of those games you're either going to like it or immediately hate it. And there's no wrong answer. You've discovered an expansive deep underground. Cool. Neat. Wow.
There is a Steam forum thread where someone asked, did you wait 30 years to pay $30 for a free game? It got 60 pages plus of yes roof.
Yes. I mean, I've seen what the original Dwarf Fortress looks like. Visually, this is a massive improvement over what the game actually looks like when it first came out. You know what I mean? Hold on. Like, Dwarf Fortress... Yeah, I quit without saving. Like, Dwarf Fortress fans ate
if I
well.
can just say, I've played this several hours at this stage and I haven't even read a third of everything you just read. I think reading all of that was way too, though it was very entertaining to look at chat as you did risk giggle.
Alright, I'm gonna tell you right now, Dwarf Fortress fans ate well with this game and this update. Here's what the original Dwarf Fortress looks like. Yep. Infinitely better. Infinitely better. And there are people who have probably... So, question, does this play exactly like the other game? So, like, if you were a Dwarf Fortress fan and then you just come to this, you'll just know exactly how everything works? Not 100%, but basically the same. Gotcha. Well, either way, like I said, I kind of figured that it wasn't going to be a game for me when we got into it, you know? I kind of figured it wasn't going to be a game for me. But I wanted to at least look at it, you know? And to those who wish to delve further in, that is Dwarf Fortress. I know there's a good game in there. So, give that a shot if you'd like.